My goal with this particular topic is to help you be able to better teach what you know to your clients. Why that matters is that if you're able to take all of this knowledge from inside of your head and better explain it to them, you're going to get better compliance, or let's say accountability, or people actually following the protocol that you've designed for them. Why that matters is because then they get the results they were looking for. Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's show of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board certified doctor of naturopathy, founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. Excited to get into today's show. Hopefully it's going to be helpful. My goal with this particular topic is to help you be able to better teach what you know to your clients. Why that matters is that if you're able to take all of this knowledge from inside of your head and better to explain it to them, you're going to get better compliance, or let's say accountability, or people actually following the protocol that you've designed for them. Why that matters is because then they get the results they were looking for. So you look great, obviously, create a protocol that they can be consistent with, get them results. You feel good because they got the results that they came to you for. And if you do your job, which I know that you're going to be able to do, you'll then get more referrals for their friends, their family, their coworkers, and that's how you begin to grow your business as well. So all of this is a great way to do it. I'm going to share with you what is called the Feynman technique. Now, if you've never heard about the Feynman technique, that's okay. I hadn't either previous, but I had heard of Richard Feynman before. I just didn't know that it is a specific technique for teaching, which is I thought pretty unusual. However, this is an unusual individual who I believe was back in 1965 won the Nobel Prize. He was a theoretical physicist, basically a brilliant scientist, worked on electrodynamics and wanted to better teach the subject as well to people that had no idea what it was about. Now, the reason I give you that backstory is that most of us don't know about quantum science, about quantum mechanics, about electrodynamics. Yet he was able to take these complex terms and teach it to all sorts of people and actually share with them, here's what I'm working on, here's what I do. And it was a 4-part sequence. And the 4-part sequence is called, well, we'll get into each one, but the first one, let me give you this first. The first one is called setting the stage. So to move through all of these different stages for teaching, you're going to be able to do this within maybe 30 to 60 seconds in the future once this becomes second nature. For now, you might want to just write them down, check out the show notes. We'll put this in the show notes at ihp.coach/280 if you want a synopsis, okay? ihp.coach/280. So the first one is setting the stage. So first is kind of choosing the topic that you want to be able to master. So you're going to do this yourself, of course. And usually we recommend with IHPs is you're going to know a lot about a lot of different health-based topics, but you're going to be an expert in your particular niche. It might be female hormones, male hormones. It might be exercise and weight loss or weight gain. It might be the adrenals. You could pick whatever you want, the thyroid, migraines, allergies, etc. But you're going to read and you're going to research a lot about the topic. We've talked about this many, many times, but you want to get to a status where basically you know more than the average individual, and not even like the average individual, meaning that if you were just to walk down the street, any random street in America or wherever you live, would you know more about, let's just call it the thyroid, would you know more about the thyroid if that was your niche than 99 out of 100 people you walk down the street? Now, it doesn't have to be 100, but 99 out of 100. Right? And if the answer is yes, I know more about the thyroid than 99 out of 100 other people, you are an expert in that. Whether you feel you are or not is literally beside of the case. That's more of an issue with imposter syndrome that we teach a lot about in IHP Mastery and how to overcome that. But the truth is you're an expert in that. Okay, so that's first setting the stage. You need to know the information. But there's no doubt in my mind, if you've gone through IHP, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, then you know the information. So now it's about narrowing it down to your niche, and that's going to be the main thing that you teach on. It won't be the only thing, but that'll be the main thing. Okay, so then the second stage of the 4-part system is this. It's called ELI5. ELI5 is the easiest way to remember it, but it's explain it to me like I'm 5. That's what it stands for. Now, I love this because whether a person has any background in health or not, whenever I get on a consultation with someone, I actually say that. I say, you may know a lot about health, and I'm not saying that you don't, but I like to explain it to people as if it's really their first time hearing about health. I don't say it like you're 5, but that's how you have to be able to explain it. So you want to know this topic inside and out so that you could explain it to someone like a 5-year, like as if they were 5. Now, of course, they're not going to be 5. They're probably going to be 25 or 35 or 45, but you get the gist. If you can explain it to a child, then you know the topic inside and out. So I do this with myself all the time. I've been using the Feynman technique in this regard for decades to help me understand if I really know the topic. So if I'm in a conversation with someone and I'm struggling to explain what I'm talking about, I realize that I actually don't know this topic as deep as I really believe that I should. So I will go back and I'll learn about it more so that I have a greater vocabulary to be able to enunciate, explain, share the knowledge that I have and how it might help the other individual. So even though you have your base knowledge, let's call it IHP, level 1, level 2, and then you have your niche. Do you know your niche enough that you can explain it to a 5-year-old? So for me, let's just say the niche is the thyroid. Let's just say, okay, as if this person's 5. So you have a gland that's located right below your Adam's apple, right around there or so, in your neck that you can point to it. And this particular gland actually helps you regulate the temperature of your body. It can help you to be tired or not tired, to see if your skin is going to be dry or maybe even oily, to see if your hair is going to get thinner or stronger, to dictate much of how many calories you're going to burn per day, whether you're going to have strong sleep, good sleep, or not. And that is the way that you'd be able to explain it to a 5-year-old, because a 5-year-old would know about their skin, their sleep, like all of those different things. So that's the level that you're looking to learn it at. And if you know that, then it's going to be much more helpful to your clients. But your clients, although they want to know that you know the information inside and out, they want to understand it. They want to be able to have normal conversations with you. All right, step number 3 is this, is to go back and look at how did I do? So step 1, learn, digest the information. Step 2 is, can you now explain that information to a 5-year-old? And if you can't, it means that you learned it, but you're only regurgitating what you learned, right? So you learned it, you know it, but you don't know it at a deep level. That's a lot of what I see on social media. I'm not throwing any stones. I'm not saying that I know everything about everything. I'm not saying that either. But what I'm saying is I see people, putting up studies, quoting things, but if you ask a question, you go a little bit deeper, things shut off. And so we have to be careful with that because it's easy to repost, but we want to be able to learn what we need to know, not about everything in the world, but about your niche to that level. So the third is, how did you do? You learn the material. Could you explain it to a 5-year-old? That's the best way to look at it. And just normal conversation. And the last step is this. You want to be able to not only take the information that you know, but to make it relatable, to be able to convey it in a bit of a story, to be able to give anecdotes, and then to be able to help them personalize it for them. That's a whole different level. So again, you know the information at a broader level and then in your niche. You don't have a million niches, you have one, right? At least in the beginning. Then you can learn more and more and more. No doubt about it. The second, can you explain it to a 5-year-old? The third is assess how well you did at being able to explain it at a base level to most individuals, right? At like a 5-year-old. And then the next part is this. Now, could you take feedback, additional questions, and work within a personalized protocol while using anecdotes and stories to greater convey the point? So I just gave you an example about the thyroid, how it can help with the body in terms of calorie burning, dry skin, sleep, overall fatigue or energy, brain fog, and again, I wouldn't use brain fog for a child. I would say, sometimes you can't recall thoughts as well. You kind of get that foggy thinking or that not so clear thinking. And so I would use more terms like that. And then what I would say is, I've worked with individuals just like yourself. They've come in, they're in their mid 40s, and they're dealing with a lot of these same symptoms. They don't know why they're fatigued. They don't know why their thinking isn't as great. And they think they might be getting more towards early stage dementia when they're really not. It's just more of dealing with this low thyroid. And also they haven't been able to lose the stubborn weight. And so what I found is that if we begin to work on specific systems of the body, like improving sleep, improving cortisol production, improving overall energy balance through a lot of times nutrition and even just low-level exercise like walking, we're able to make a monumental difference. And inside of about 12 to 16 weeks, we can actually see improvements, huge improvements in energy, vitality, clarity of thinking, and weight loss. And so what I'm doing is I'm just tailoring the program more to them based on the symptoms that they came in with, relating it to another client without breaking confidentiality, and then showing them a timeline as to how they're going to improve. And I gave them the way that we'll be able to do that: adrenals, sleep, nutrition, walking, etc. And then the specific nutrients I could go into. So that's really how you want to be able to present this information. Now, it's going to just be secondhand to you after doing it for a while. So what we want to be able to do is we want to practice. And this is why it's so important that I recommend that you role play with colleagues of yours. Now, if you're inside of IHP, it's easy. Just say, is anyone interested in an accountability buddy, a study buddy, and in role playing as if you were a client to get more experience? Because they can ask you any question that you're not prepared for, and you can see how well can you explain that to a 5-year-old. How deep is your knowledge? Can you give anecdotal stories from your practice as well? Can you explain the protocols that might be helpful for you? It's just like improv. The more that you get improved or better at speaking, the more comfortable you're going to be just trying to find the next word that comes next and the next one after that, and related, of course, to the individual. So I'm telling you right now, if you haven't already used this, just use these 4 basic principles. They will help you going into any consultation. What is my niche? What do I want to be able to talk about? Can I explain it to a 5-year-old? And you can just do this on your own. So literally write down a bit about your niche, the main things, maybe 10 bullets. Write down how you'd explain it to a 5-year-old, another 10 bullets or so. Then how did you do? How could you improve? That will take time, right? That will just get feedback from an individual with their questions. And then also, now how do you transition to stories, to anecdotes, and to making this more personalized for them as to how they'll heal. And that, of course, will go back to symptoms, right? The issues that they're having and how you'll help them overcome that. That's the roadmap. So hopefully this was helpful. We'd love to hear from you in the comments as to what you thought. And if there's any other questions, we can help clear up for you. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the week. Thursday's show will be back.